So love has blinded you. Anakin and Padme's dialogue has undergone a lot of criticism. People say that it's too cringy, it's too awkward, it was poorly written. Other people say that they really like it because it's absolutely hilarious listening to them, and it definitely is. But I, on the other hand, think that the dialogue was very well written and that it fits perfectly. And I'll explain why on today's episode of Star Wars, Nerds and Geeks. So I'm going to talk generally first, and then I'll explain the specific dialogue. So first, what you have to remember is that Anakin is only 19 years old in episode 2, and he's only 22 years old in episode 3. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know many 19 to 22-year-olds that are absolutely incredible at flirting, that are incredible with romance, and are just like love experts. But not only is Anakin young, he also, he doesn't really have much experience in this field now, does he? I mean, think about it. The Jedi forbid attachments. Like, no girlfriends, no boyfriends. You just can't have that. So, how is Anakin supposed to know what to do? This is in episode 2, that is literally probably the first time that he's ever tried to flirt with a girl. I mean, he's not bad for the first time, I guess, but you got to remember that Anakin is going into this fresh, that he doesn't know what he's doing. And then a couple days after the first time he's flirting, he gets married. So not only is he flirting with a girl for the first time and he doesn't know how to have a girlfriend or anything, but now suddenly he has a wife. He has had the experience of all of, a week. Anyways, all that to say, Anakin is young and he doesn't have much experience, mostly because of the Jedi, but he's young and he doesn't have experience, so you can't really blame him for saying stupid stuff. Now, Padme doesn't have very many weird lines in their movies. Remember, she's a little bit older than Anakin, about 6 years, I think. She also has actually had experience dating before because she's not a part of a religious cult that forbids attachments. And even when she does say the awkward lines, it's just in response to something that Anakin said. So, in reality, Padme is pretty solid at all this stuff. She just doesn't know what to do with Anakin. And then the third thing you have to remember is that Star Wars in general is a kind of fantasy genre. And I've talked before about how the original trilogy is more of a space opera. However, the prequel trilogy is kind of more leaning towards a fantasy genre than it is a space opera. And I'll explain all that in a future video that I think will be very interesting. But since the prequels are a fantasy genre, they talk in a fantasy way, and a fantasy way of talking is like Old English. It's an old way of speaking. It's how ancient monarchs and people in the 1400s, how they speak. That is the fantasy style of speaking. So, when the characters are speaking awkwardly, it's partially because they are awkward. It's also partially because of the genre that they are in. Look at Lord of the Rings, for example. The dialogue in that, I don't know if anyone would describe it as awkward, but it's definitely fantasy-like. It's similar to Star Wars, where it's 14th century talk, where it's Old English talk, where they talk weird, but it's just a part of the genre. It's just what the genre is. It's how that style of writing plays out. Essentially, what I am saying is that, yes, Anakin and Padme's dialogue is awkward, but it was well written. And I say that it was well written because it truly shows not only the genre that the movie is in, but also just the sheer awkwardness that both of them were feeling and the sheer inexperiencedness that Anakin had. And it really just shows their personalities really well. And now, here is the most awkward dialogue between Anakin and Padme, in my opinion.
You're so beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
No. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
So love has blinded you.
Well, that's not exactly what I meant.
But it's probably true.
So that dialogue was definitely very, very awkward. But not only that, I think it was the best showcase of what I have been talking about this video. See, what happens in that is Anakin is trying to flirt with Padme, and he's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." And then Padme's flirting back, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much. It's only because I'm in love with you so much. I make myself beautiful for you." And Anakin's like, "All right." And then he's like, I gotta continue this conversation. I got to make her know that I love her. And so, in the way that a 22-year-old's mind works who has been married for 3 years and who has been at war for 3 years, what he says? No, no, no. It's because I am so in love with you. Which is a very weird thing to say. And what Padme takes it as is that Anakin doesn't think that she's beautiful because she actually is beautiful. Anakin just thinks she's beautiful because he loves her. And so then she's confused and she's like, so wait, so love has blinded you then? And then Anakin gets confused because he's trying to figure out what she's trying to say. And this entire thing just becomes this whole awkward mess. But then they're just like, after that, they're just like, whatever. You're trying to say something nice. I was trying to say something nice. Let's just forget about it. Oh man, you look so beautiful. Oh, thank you, but it's only because I love you so much. No, 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 no. I only think you're beautiful because I love you. So, love has blinded you then? Huh? Huh? Forget about it. And that's the most awkward dialogue between Anakin and Padme, and I think I did it justice explaining it. But essentially, what this video has been about, Anakin and Padme's dialogue, and in fact the entire dialogue of the prequels in general, was very well written. It was well written if you consider the context that A, this movie was made in a fantasy genre where they are designed to speak in an old style of English. Second, Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan, all of them, they have a tiny bit of humanness, a tiny bit of awkwardness. Anakin especially since he's a kid, but really everybody in the movie, just a tinge of awkwardness, make them feel a little bit more realistic. Maybe some of them got a little bit too much, maybe some of them got a little too little. I don't know, but I think that it was very well done and I really like it. I think that honestly a lot of things in the prequels are incredibly well done. You just have to take them in context and see them in an unbiased view, and then maybe you can see how awesome they are. But that's about all I have for today. As always, this is Star Wars Nerds and Geeks signing off. See you all next time.